Good morning student, I am Suraj Kumar, your geography teacher, and in the last class we are reading about rural urban composition. We already seen the half part of it. This chapter name is chapter 3 part A book, Fundamental of Human Geography. The name of the chapter is population composition. So we are looking into the rural urban composition. Actually this topic we had already discussed in the chapter 1 of part B book, but there in India's perspective. Here we need to look the same topic in perspective of the world or different countries of the world, different developed and developing. What are the differences between the rural and urban population composition and the lifestyle of people living in rural and urban region or center of different part of the world, especially what are the major differences between the developed urban and rural region, means urban and rural region of a developed country as compared to the urban and rural region of the some developing and underdeveloped country. So there is long differences in terms of their way of living, in terms of their working style, especially in underdeveloped country people were more engaged in primary activity, whereas in case of developed country they are more in secondary and tertiary and quaternary activities. We already discussed these things. We are into this figure 3.4 shows about the rural urban sex composition of selected countries of the world, and we are segregating or discussing these things. This is our last topic of previous class. So just see it here. Over the y-axis of this multiple bar graph, it is shown about the sex ratio. So y-axis is showing the sex ratio of different countries of the world, and over the x-axis it's mentioned about the different countries. This is multiple bar graph. So same country, seeing that different 5 or 6 countries are showing multiple bar graph, means same country showing 2 or more than 2 bar graph. Multiple bar graph is like that. We are taking up or we are drawing up more than one criteria of single country over the x-axis. So there are 6 countries here, and we are seeing multiple characteristics of 6 countries over the x-axis by this multiple bar graph. So you can see it here. This black and white patches is all about rural composition of 6 different countries of the world. Few of them are developed, few are underdeveloping countries or least developed countries. Whereas vertical black and white shades is all about urban composition of different developed and underdeveloped country of the world. So we can look into these things with perspective of rural urban composition. The rural and the urban differences in the sex ratio in Canada and the West European country like Finland, that is the developed part of the world, like a developed country. Canada is one of the developed country of the North American continent, whereas different Western European countries are also in the category of few of the developed market economy or country of the world. So the rural and urban differences in the sex ratio in these region or country belonging to these region is completely different, is completely opposite to those of African and Asian country. So if we compare some of the developed countries rural and urban composition like that of Canada and Finland with some of the underdeveloping or least developed country of Africa and Asia like the country of Nepal and Zimbabwe, so we will find a reversal in figure. So there is a complete reversal in data figure. Picture were just opposite. So just see it here how it is different from each other. In Western countries, like in case of Finland or in case of Canada, in these countries male outnumber females, especially in the rural area. There you will find that as compared to females, number of males are more, especially in rural area. So male always outnumber females. Sex ratio is unfavorable in favor of females. Whereas at the same country, at the same time, you will find, especially in urban area, the picture is reverse. In an urban area, females outnumber the males in these developed countries. The picture is complete reverse in case of developing or this developed country like Nepal, Pakistan, India. In these country case is completely reverse. Here, just see, you can see it that in country like Nepal, you will find it here that here females outnumber males in rural area. Just see the case of Nepal. In Nepal, there is 1008 females as compared to 1000 males in rural area of Nepal. If you look into the urban area of Nepal, we are finding that there is 938. There is only 938 females as compared to 1000 males. So, in urban region of underdeveloped or underdeveloping country, male outnumber females, whereas in the rural area picture is reverse. So if we compare Nepal with Canada, what we are finding that in urban region of Canada, females outnumber males, whereas in a urban region of Nepal, males outnumber females. So just reverse. At the same time, if we look into the rural area of Canada, here males outnumber females. In case of urban region of Canada, females outnumber males, whereas in rural region of Canada, females outnumber males. There is just 968 females per 1000 males. And that is the case for any developed country of North America or Western European country. But this picture is just reverse in case of developing country like Nepal. Here, in rural region of Nepal, females outnumber males, whereas in urban region of Nepal, males outnumber females. So, this way you can understand this is a complete reversal of picture and the data will completely opposite to each other. The access of female in urban areas of USA, Canada and Europe means more the number of females, especially in developed country like USA, Canada or Western European country, is basically causes of the region is mainly because of the reason of influx of female from rural area to avail the vast job opportunity. So what is there? It is there that in urban center of this developed country, the environment is favorable, condition is much more favorable for the migration of women as well. On the other hand, in developed country like Canada, USA, what is there? Their primary activity, especially agriculture, is highly mechanized. And in such a mechanized agriculture, there is no role of females. Mainly in these developed country, agriculture is done by male community. So more number of males were engaged in this country, which is just reverse the case as compared with the developing region like India, Nepal. What is there? Here in India or Nepal, there is a need of more number of hands, because here the primary activity or the agriculture is mainly manual. So in such cases, in such a case like India and Nepal, where the agriculture is manual, more the number of hands in a family, that kind of family will be considered as stronger, wealthier. So more the number of hands or more the member are there to work in their own agricultural field, such kind of family were taken or uh, considered as a wealthier or stronger. So in developing country like India, Nepal, females were also motivated to work, and females were also taking part in agriculture and related activity. They joined shoulder to shoulder with their male counterpart, and they also used to work in a agricultural field manually. The same is not available in case of developed country like USA, Canada. There the condition of urban region is completely reverse as compared to India or the developing country. What is the issue here, especially in case of developing country like India? Female participation is more. Female participation in farming activity in rural area is fairly high because of manual working, because agriculture is manual here in case of developing country. Second thing is that there is shortage of housing, high cost of living, paucity of job opportunity, and lack of security are there in urban cities in a developing country like India. So in a developing economy like India and China, they have shortage of housing in urban region. They have a very high cost of living in their urban region. They have paucity of, means scarcity of job opportunity in urban cities of India or developing country. There is lack of security, especially for women in any developing country or underdeveloped country, especially in their urban region. And that is not same, and that is reverse. All these conditions are abundantly available in developed country of the world like Canada and USA. So that's why in those country, those developed country, those developed economy, there is huge migration of females towards the urban center. Females in large number used to migrate towards the urban cities and urban centers because of all type of facilities available there, whereas this is not the case in developing country like India, Nepal. Here females migration is less, and on the same time female were also engaged in manual agriculture, which is not the case in developing countries like USA and Canada. And because of these things, there is more sex ratio, favorable sex ratio in rural region in developing country like India and Nepal or Zimbabwe, whereas there is negative or unfavorable sex ratio in urban region of country like India and Nepal, developing country. So there is positive favorable sex ratio in rural region of developing country, whereas there is negative unfavorable conditions of sex ratio in urban region of developing country like India and Nepal. The same case is reverse in developed world of UK, Canada, USA, etc. So this is all about this rural urban composition. I think it is all clear. So we already looked into these things. Now we need to start the next topic, that is literacy. So especially in India, literacy is defined for 7-year and old age group citizens, and the definition of literacy is all about the person who is able to read, write their names and have the ability to do arithmetic calculation without much deep understanding are literate in India. So this is definition of literacy in India. Anybody who has 7 years or more, anybody who has aged more than 7 years and who is able to read, write their name, and who is also able to do some basic arithmetics calculations without much deep understanding of regarding these arithmetic calculation are literate in India. So with such a narrow definition of literacy, even with such a narrow definition, the rate of literacy is not much higher, especially in a case of country like India. They are comparatively less literate, and literacy have a cause and effect relationship with development. So level of economic development is both a cause and consequences of literacy. Means for a country to be economically developed, it is basic requirement that literacy level of such an economy or country is on a higher side. At the same time, if any country of the world is literate, is having a very high literacy rate, then there are four and foremost chances that such an economy will be having a high level of economic development. So they are having a, means it is said that it is saying that level of economic development have a cause and consequences relation with literacy. So this way, literate population of a country is an indicator of its socio-economic development, as it reveals the standard of living of the people, social status of the females, means how standardly the people were. More the literacy rate of an economy is, more the standard of living of their citizens are. Social status of females also depends upon the level of literacy, as more the literate economy or country, the more the respect for women are there. Same way, availability of educational facility and policies of government is also determined by overall literacy rate or literacy percentage of the country. So more the developed country, more the respect for women, more the developed economy, more the standard of living of the people, more the developed country, more the availability of educational facilities and policies of government are there. So this is all about literacy. Now I just want to visualize you something regarding the literacy of India. So there is a data literacy rate of India, especially if you compare the literacy rate of India and different states of India with respect to different previous census, that is census of 2001 and 2011. You'll find that, just see it, according to 2001 census, there is approximately 64.83, that is approximately 65% of the Indian people were literate, whereas with the latest data of 2011 census, we are about 74% of the India's total population are literate now. So we are waiting for next census. Just within a 1 or 2 year, we will find there is some upliftment in this figure. We are about nearing to 80% of the literacy rate throughout India with that a narrow definition. The definition I already told you is such a narrow that anybody who is having an age more than 7 years and is able to read and write their name and do basic arithmetic calculation without deep understanding about that thing is literate in India. With that a narrow definition, we are just 74% literate throughout our country. Even in it, you just see there is huge variation. Just see from the state of Bihar. So if you consider the figure of Bihar, Bihar is number 10. Just see it. Just 47% of the total Bihar population is literate according to 2001 census, which just increases to 63.82, near about 64% in 2011 census. And this is the lowest amongst all the states of India. And just compare it with state like Kerala. Kerala, just see it. It is number 32. Kerala is 93.91% literate. That is, the level of literacy in Kerala is around 94% according to 2011 census, and it was 91% according to 2001 census. So there is a huge gap between Bihar and Kerala. Bihar is just 64%, whereas Kerala is nearing to 94%. There is a huge gap. If we'll see or compare it by 2011 census, even then the gap is huge. From Bihar is just at 47%, whereas Kerala is nearing to 91%. So it's there. If we look into the second lowest after Bihar, Bihar is the lowest. Bihar is having the lowest literacy rate. Second lowest is Rajasthan. Just see number 8, 67%. This is second lowest state. If we Rajasthan, just see it. Bihar is 35th. By both 2011 and 2001 data, Bihar is at 35th position. If we look into the Rajasthan, Rajasthan was at 29th position in 2001, but according to 2011 it is 33rd. Means after Bihar there is one more state with rank 34. Just see it. 34 is Arunachal Pradesh. That is a state of northeast, so don't go by it. It is a tribal state. Even then it has improved a little bit more. But second, after Arunachal Pradesh, the second major states after Bihar and Arunachal Pradesh is Rajasthan. So this is all about, over the higher literacy rate, you will just see the Kerala 32, number one according to 2001 and 2011 census. Means by 2001 or by 2011, Kerala is highest literate state in India. Second highest is Lakshadweep, number 2. Earlier in 2001 census it was at number 3, so just an improvement. Whereas number 3 is Mizoram, which was at number 2 at the time of 2001 census. This is all about literacy rate. Just see, move into the next, occupational structure. Just see it. Occupational structure, we also discussed this topic in chapter 1 itself. Occupational structure, mainly the primary, second, in terms of primary sector, secondary sector, tertiary sector, agriculture, manufacturing and service sector. We already discussed this thing, but here in perspective of the world, we look again into it. The working population, again 15 to 59 years, which take parts in different occupation ranging from agriculture, forestry, fishing, manufacturing, construction. So all these things, all these first three things, that is agriculture, forestry, and the third one is fishing. This is all about primary activity. Then manufacturing, construction, manufacturing industry, secondary sector, and then comes the commercial, transport, service, communication, and other unclassified service. This is all about tertiary sector. So it's saying that all the working age group, that is the people in a age group of 15 to 59 years, will take part in various occupational structure, various occupational works ranging from primary to tertiary sectors. Okay. ranging from farming to service sector. Agriculture, forestry, fishing and mining are classified as a primary activity. Then it further classified the defined that which activities will come under the primary activity, what are the part of secondary and what are the part of which activities are the part of tertiary activity. So agriculture, forestry, fishing and mining are classified as primary activity, manufacturing as a secondary activity, and rest all including trade, transport, communication, banking, insurance, anything, teaching, everything is service sector, that is part of the service tertiary activity. Besides all these things, other activities are also the part of tertiary. Job related to research means highly quantified, highly knowledgeable works, like highly knowledgeable people, what they do, like the jobs of research, jobs related to IT development, IT development means software things, software kind of things, people who works in the development of software. Then people who works in developing ideas, who were counselors, like that kind of, who used to counsel you that what you need to do in your future. Such kind of jobs are the part of quaternary activities. So highly skilled, even in service sector, even in tertiary, the people or the highly skilled people, whatever they do is the part of quaternary activity. And all these things we will see in detail in different chapters. There are 3 different chapters in your syllabus. Will see all these things in those chapters. The proportion of population engaged in these 4 sectors, that is primary, secondary, tertiary and quaternary sectors, is basically the good indicator of level of economic development of a nation. So how many percentage of people working in primary sector and what percentage are there in secondary, tertiary and quaternary sector will define the level of development of a particular country or nation. And that's why these are the indicators of the level of economic development. This is because mainly in case of developed country with industries, they are mainly in secondary, tertiary and quaternary. They are not much in primary activity. So developed country with industries and infrastructure can accommodate more workers in the secondary and tertiary and quaternary sectors. So developed country which are having a much more industrial setup, which are having a much more infrastructure developed, they mainly accommodate lots of people, and all the peoples in such economy will accommodated in secondary, tertiary and quaternary activity or sectors. If an economy is still primitive, underdeveloped or very backward kind, primitive means Puranic, older kind, if an economy is still running with older ways, older lifestyle, very primitive in nature, then the proportion of more people in such economy will be engaged in primary activities. Why it is so? It is so because it involves mainly the extraction of natural resources. They are not advanced, they are not developed, they does not know the modern techniques, tools, ways, and that's why they are basically dependent upon something they are gathering from nature itself in form of extraction of natural resources, which is basically the part of primary activity. So that's it. We already seen all the topic. If anybody of you have any doubt, you can place your comment over the comment section. Let's discuss few of the objective questions here. The first question is, which one of the following has caused the sex ratio of the UAE, United Arab Emirates, to be low? Which of the following has caused the sex ratio of United Arab Emirates to be low? So answer to this is A, selective migration of male working population. So more the number of people migrated, that's why more the male population will migrated, that's why there is cause the sex ratio of UAE on a lower side. Okay, more people from these country will migrated out in search of jobs in different developed part of the world. Why? Because these are the these country are mainly in desert part of the hot desert part of the world, and that's why they have a limited scope and limited resources, limited opportunity. That's why people engaged in this, people of these people who have acquired skill on a large scale in such country will used to migrate it out for better choice or better job opportunity. So that's why selective migration of male working population will result into the sex ratio of UAE to be on a lower side. Which of the following figure represents the working age group of the population? I already said 15 to 59 years. Option D is correct. 15 to 59 years. Which one of the following country has the highest sex ratio in the world? This is Latvia. Latvia is European country which is having 85 females per 1000 males. So here males outnumbered females. 85 males per 100 females. So here there is less male as compared to, there is just 85 males as compared to 100 females. So that's why this is the country which is having the highest sex ratio in the world in favor of females. So per 85 मेल्स पे वहाँ 100 फीमेल्स है, 15 फीमेल्स ज़्यादा है. तो लाटविया इज दैट कंट्री विच इज़ पार्ट ऑफ CIS firstly, which broken out from the Latvian country. Just see it here. Latvia is where. I just show you people. This is Baltic state. Baltic state के आप नॉर्थ में जाओगे तो you will see this sea is Baltic Sea. Baltic state के ईस्टर्न साइड में there is 3 states: Estonia, Latvia and Lithuania. These are called Baltic states. So Latvia is mid of this Baltic state. So this is Latvia. ये सब तो आपको पता ही होगा, आई होप सो. कि नेपाल देखिए कहाँ पे, इंडिया में यहाँ नेपाल है. फिर जिम्बाब्वे भी एक कंट्री आया था, जिम्बाब्वे. जस्ट सीट, जिम्बाब्वे इज हियर साउथ अफ्रीका के ऊपर. कनाडा, ऑल आई थिंक ऑल ऑफ यू नो. USA के ऊपर कनाडा है. वेस्टर्न यूरोपियन कंट्री, दिस इज यूरोप. दिस इंटायर थिंग, दिस इज यूरोप. इस पूरे यूरोप में वेस्टर्न यूरोपियन कंट्रीज आर जैसे इटली, जर्मनी, फ्रांस, ये सारे कंट्री जो हैं, स्पेन, नीदरलैंड, एम्स्टरडम, दीज आर द वेस्टर्न यूरोपियन कंट्री इंक्लूडिंग नॉर्वे, स्वीडन. ओके. So Latvia is the answer. Then comes the answer the following question in about 30 words. What do you understand by population composition? I think I already given this question in your assignment. So this is very easy. You all can do it. What are the significance of age structure? This is also the repeated question. How is sex ratio measured? Same way. These all are very simple. Describe the rural-urban composition of the population. This is new one. So I already discussed in detail in 2 classes about the rural-urban composition of the population. So you have to write this answer in respect to the world perspective: developed region, developing region, and underdeveloped region of the world. So this way you need to answer it. Something you need to add up from your knowledge. Not all the things came directly from the book. Then this one, the tricky one. Discuss the factor responsible for imbalance in sex age found in different part of the world and occupational structure. ठीक है. तो आपको ये this question is bit trickier one. Just firstly try to do it, and then if you are not able to do it, then I will help. So that's it for today. I hope that Everything is clear. If there is any doubt, you can ask me again and again. See you. Bye bye. See you in the next class. Bye.